May the peace of the Lord be with you all. As we bring to you the readings of today's Holy Mass. Come, let us now listen to the Word of God. March 10, 2026. Tuesday of the third week of Lent.
A reading from the book of Prophet Daniel. Azariah stood still in the fire and prayed aloud, "Do not withdraw your mercy from us, for the sake of Abraham your beloved and for the sake of your servant Isaac and Israel your Holy One, to whom you promised to multiply their descendants like the stars of heaven and like the sand on the shore of the sea. For we, O Lord, have become fewer than any other nation, and are brought low this day in all the world because of our sins. In our day we have no ruler, or prophet, or leader, no burnt offering, or sacrifice, or oblation, or incense, no place to make an offering before you and to find mercy. Yet with a contrite heart and a humble spirit may we be accepted, as though it were with burnt offerings of rams and bulls, or with tens of thousands of fat lambs. Such may our sacrifice be in your sight today, and may we unreservedly follow you, for no shame will come to those who trust in you. And now with all our heart we follow you, we fear you and seek your presence. Do not put us to shame, but deal with us in your patience and in your abundant mercy. Deliver us in accordance with your marvelous works, and bring glory to your name, O Lord." The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. The response is, "Remember your mercies, O Lord. Make me to know your ways, O Lord, teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth, and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. Remember your mercies, O Lord. Be mindful of your mercy, O Lord, and of your steadfast love, for they have been from of old. According to your steadfast love remember me, for your goodness' sake, O Lord. Remember your mercies, O Lord. Good and upright is the Lord, therefore he instructs sinners in the way. He leads the humble in what is right, and teaches the humble his way. Remember your mercies, O Lord. Even now, says the Lord, return to me with your whole heart, for I am gracious and merciful."
A reading from the Holy Gospel, according to Matthew. Peter came and said to Jesus, "Lord, if another member of the church sins against me, how often should I forgive? As many as 7 times?" Jesus said to him, "Not 7 times, but, I tell you, 77 times. For this reason the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his slaves. When he began the reckoning, one who owed him 10,000 talents was brought to him, and, as he could not pay, his lord ordered him to be sold, together with his wife and children and all his possessions, and payment to be made. So the slave fell on his knees before him, saying, 'Have patience with me, and I will pay you everything.' And out of pity for him, the lord of that slave released him and forgave him the debt. But that same slave, as he went out, came upon one of his fellow slaves who owed him 100 denarii, and seizing him by the throat, he said, 'Pay what you owe.' Then his fellow slave fell down and pleaded with him, 'Have patience with me, and I will pay you.' But he refused. Then he went and threw him into prison until he should pay the debt. When his fellow slaves saw what had happened, they were greatly distressed, and they went and reported to their lord all that had taken place. Then his lord summoned him and said to him, 'You wicked slave! I forgave you all that debt because you pleaded with me. Should you not have had mercy on your fellow slave, as I had mercy on you?' And in anger his lord handed him over to be tortured until he should pay his entire debt. So my heavenly Father will also do to every one of you, if you do not forgive your brother or sister from your heart. The Gospel of the Lord.
Hello, 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 everyone. Today is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. Welcome to Jack of Clubs. It is a great pleasure to see everyone. Hope that everyone is doing well. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I appreciate people's patience with our stream schedule being changed slightly. I know that it had two changes because we both had to switch Monday, and then we were planning to switch Monday to Wednesday, but actually Wednesday ended up being today, and today ended up being tomorrow. It's a lot of moving parts right now because I'm moving and other stuff. I did get out of it, thankfully, the opportunity to go see my first Cavs game ever last night, so that was cool. I was there helping Gibbon move, and his family had tickets, and so they decided to take some time off and take us, so I'm very grateful for that. But I was planning to come home to stream, but just didn't have enough time. And the thing that made the decision for me to even go is that simply driving home from where I was would have been way too far on my back. But it's great to see you, Trent. A long time no see. Hope that you're doing well. It's great to see you again. I actually saw when I was looking at, who's in chat before I switched over here, I saw that you were there, and I was hopeful that I get a chance to say hello to you directly, so I hope that you've been doing well. We gotta find some time to do some stuff, Overwatch and stuff like that. Right now has been a very busy time in my life because of all the moving stuff, and also I have a job interview coming up sometime this week, and hopefully... Oh, things froze there. Job interview coming up this week, and hopefully a job in the coming weekend, or in the coming weeks after that. I mean, the mic's still working, but why is my face cam not working? Why? You guys can still hear me, but... Oh, it's just... That's a shame. It's not actually my camera, it's just OBS is kind of broken. I mean, it's also the camera, but you guys can hear me, hopefully. It's been all buggy since like, you see how the music thing isn't there either? Like, that shouldn't be a thing. Okay, you can hear me, you just can't see me. I appreciate that. So, OBS is outputting stuff. This has never happened before. I think it's just OBS. But, I say that, but you guys can hear me clearly, and also my face cam is not even, like, lighting up. Like, it has a light to say that it's on, and the light is not going. So, no matter where I plug it into. So, that is very strange. Hello? A lot of tapping, it is affecting it. Not good. Okay, there we go. I deactivated it and reactivated it, and now it wants to work, so good for it, I guess. Go to... up here. Get a better view of how this is, and then all we gotta figure out now is the Spotify. Which is an external thing. Which to fix, I'm simply going to have to go to their website, I guess. Because, oh, nope, there we go. Going insane as Punisher lately 40-2. Sorry, it's been a very, very long day. A lot of moving today. We got Gibbons frogs back in the house and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's been a big day. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That is very awesome. I have not been playing much Marvel Rivals. I simply haven't had too much time to game off stream. And when I do have playing more RTS stuff is kind of what I do or in my free time. But I've been playing a lot of Overwatch, actually. Not a lot. I've played it like twice since the move has started in my free time, mostly because of Mochi, but still more than Rivals, to be sure. 1 second here. All right. What was I thinking? How have things been in your life, Trent? And PB, how have things been for you? It's been a little bit since I caught up with either of you. How much do you know about what's been going on with me, Trent? Which, for reference, it's Chicken Nunjit. He goes. We play with him, and we play with him on stream all the time. He goes by his name, so I just call him that in this capacity too. Sorry to out you, buddy. How do you have you been here since the new setup? I feel like you've been here since the new setup. Because I think this was here for Christmas. That has changed. Work has changed drastically. Yeah, so moving, which... Thank you. I'm very excited about it. The only issue we have so far that I do have to fix still, basically I'll fix sometime during this whole moving process or after it's over, most likely after, just because time-wise, is the fact that the big boxes are on the bottom and the little boxes are on the top, which is a problem for subtitles. So I gotta invert that later, but which is especially a problem since we're playing a game, today that is solely in Japanese, and you rely on English subtitles to know what anyone is saying. But most people can hopefully get Kraken. Kraken is back. Hello, congratulations. Hopefully, how are you? How was basic training? Hope that you're doing well, my friend. You have not left my thoughts or prayers since you left. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Gotcha, PB. Wish you the best with that. I definitely can relate to that feeling. Kudos to you for pushing through it. It's part of life we all gotta deal with, but has its own virtues and merits. Alright, so everything's visually coming through, thankfully. Just not the audio yet, so let's make sure we have that set up correctly. Over here. Excellent. We are good to go. No mistakes on that today. The amount of times this game has messed me up with that have been truly legendary at this point, to be honest. We got a pretty emotionally heavy episode today as well, so I'm going to kind of wait to catch up with Kraken and everything, because the beginning is all going to be like catching up with the characters in the game and talking to them, so very story-driven part of the episode. And then this is like the climax of this game. To my understanding, it should be the climax of the game, what we're about to do. I wait to hear back from Kraken about how he's been and how things have been. I did want to say to... Excuse me. Ugh. Regarding what Trent was talking about, or what I was talking to Trent about, is one, I did want to clarify that, you know, I've moved from using the term move to using property acquisition because I'm just gaining more property. Like, this is all still staying, the setup is staying, this PC is staying, everything is staying, this room is staying in my life. I am just also getting to other rooms, you know, 45 minutes away at Gibbons, where I'll have the set and another bedroom out there for work. And then I'm not going to say where on stream, but I'm going to be working, hopefully, as long as the interview goes well, as an assistant for executives at a very important company, or a very big company, I should say, at the very least. I would say they're important. Not like when it's just when people say important, they think like government or something like that. It's nothing like that, but it's a very big company. Yes, that's very exciting. It's going to be a lot better situated for myself, for everything we want to do, for buying a new PC out there, for everything I want to do with my life. So I'm very excited about it. Hopefully it all works out. Looks like it's going to, but prayers needed. Yep. Finally finishing Army basic training. Now learning how to be a combat medic. Heck yeah. Whoop whoop. Had a few minutes to spare, so here I am. I am so grateful that you are in basic training. I know how stressful that all is. I know how exciting it is to get your phone back, that you chose to come here to spend some time with us to share that. I'm deeply honored by that. My utmost congratulations on getting to the completion of basic training. Today's very intense, but God has you in his hands. Amen. Hallelujah. I'm sure you'll get through it, especially, you know, it's difficult at this point, but you've been through the hardest part. At this point, it's just applying that endurance that you've gained over this time to the studies, and I'm sure that you will get it all sorted out, and at the very least, they will help, you know, make sure you get it sorted out together. Yeah, we'll continue to pray for you. God, of course, will guide you where he wants you to be and give you all the blessings that you need to do all that you are called to do. Yeah, I'm just so grateful to have you back. It's super exciting. It's a shame Zealous isn't here right now. Zealous is our other, you know, army friend. But I'm sure he'd wish you well. Uh-oh. Oh, why is the face cam glitching out again? I don't know what's up with you today. What is up with you today? It's so weird. It like never does this. This thing's like basically new too, for as long as webcams are supposed to last. I don't know what his problem is. But maybe just something booted up weird with my PC today when I started it up, but hopefully we don't have to go back on it. You know, don't have to shut the whole thing down, because that would be a pain. But heck yeah. That's so awesome. Well, welcome back, my friend. You're always welcome here, and we will continue to be praying for you. And thank you for your service, most especially right now. Yeah. And so begins. We're actually not going there. Hold on. My bad. We're reverting to a previous save because we were doing basically a last time on Ghost of Tsushima, because we wanted kind of to ease our way back into the game instead of just heading right into there. Catch up with the off stream. Sounds great. I'm probably gonna be streaming for like 3 hours tonight, maybe a little bit more, 3 to 4. And then after that is over, it will be... Oh man, we're getting a little bit of lag with this too, which isn't abnormal. I'm just worried because of everything else. It should sort itself out with time though. So if you have time after that, of course tonight works, and if not, tomorrow should be fairly open. I would like say past 10 a.m. really anytime, as long as my interview doesn't get scheduled then. It could be literally any day, any time now, which is kind of stressful, but yeah, other than that, like I have things going on, but we can work around stuff. I would say, honestly, Thursday's probably going to be best in terms of stuff I have going on, but yeah, sound is buffering. Why is everything so weird today? My PC's like choking on itself. It should figure itself out. Sounds good. Talk to you soon. Now it is time to talk to all of our allies. Kind of walk down memory lane of everything, you know, that we've done over this long series in this world, seeing the fruits of all of our labors and our decisions, how the man we decided to become cultivated and shaped the men and women around us. Same to you, chicken. He's gotten through a lot to become the man that he is today. He had to let go of a lot and embrace a lot. But often it's having something to hold on to that helps us to let go of the pain that we carry. It becomes a part of us, and it almost becomes, you know, we lose ourselves when we let it go. Need to find something new to become. He lost everything that he was before, and now he has found a new life. Not only in taking on a new position, but who he used to be has been merged with that. You know, pick up the pieces of his old life and contribute to something, an even more beautiful sculpture of sorts. Now we have someone who has been sculpture is a good word for this guy. I can never really say his name, so I'm not really gonna try. Sensei has been a rock throughout all of the experience, and so very, very interesting to get his perspective. Ishikawa. Wise words. It's the beauty of a life of virtue. You go through many hills and valleys and different challenges, but the way of the life, the way of life that you undertake keeps you sharpened and ready for all of it, so you can remain at peace at all times. Stay true to those anchors. Sensei's done that for us this entire time, and done that in our lives, and has assisted us to do the same, despite all the stress and pain and suffering that we've endured. Menkraken. The game has been fantastic. It has been one of the most fun experiences I've had. It's been one of the best, most edifying experiences I've had in gaming in my life, and certainly one of the most fun series as well I've had on the channel. I love everything from the combat and the aesthetics on the lighter side, the fun side, to the the depth and nuance of the story, and also just of the sentiment and the characters and the characterization has been really moving throughout the whole experience. Even changed the way I've seen some things, and myself, which is what art is supposed to do. And it's great to see when a game can become both. Becomes a form of art that can, reach you in perhaps deeper ways than almost any other, because you get to, it's an active art that you get to participate in. It's funny that I think of this based on, the commentary. This was supposed to just be a point leaning into what we were just talking about, but Kenji is a perfect transition point for this, and there's, something that has been very enjoyable about, living in a game world that is in of an Eastern culture, is that Eastern culture is very duty-based and based on the people around you. whereas Western culture tends to be a lot more liberty and self-centered. And it's very like, you know, this life naturally calls one and lifts one up and pushes one to virtue in a way that we've kind of lost in the West because we've failed to recognize how, you know, what true liberty is and how virtue is self-fulfilling and helps us. But Kenji is someone who, despite a life of crime and, you know, all sorts of other illicit behavior, saw the needs in his fellow man and let that call him and lift him up to be something different than he ever was and find a new purpose, even find ways to turn his selfishness into methods of helping others. And now at the end, you know, when half the island has turned on us and, you know, forsaken that basically the cause, more or less, or at least the people who have furthered that cause, he's stayed faithful. Cause. Combat man can never save a life, only delay a death. That's a very difficult thing to have to deal with, and it's unfortunately often a very true statement. I wouldn't say it's not strictly true, but it's doesn't mean it's, you know, many valuable expressions aren't strictly true, but what was I thinking? The truth, they convey a truth through the hyperbole, that they convey the... Why can't I think of the word right now? The size, I guess. I'm looking for a word that begins with an M. The massiveness isn't the right word, but of, you know, the weight of what we're dealing with when we say that. Is a very difficult job because you're just constantly facing death over and over again, and all that you are really there to do is to provide consolation, provide people an opportunity to make peace with God, with their brothers, to have a moment of comfort and consolation, the pain that they're experiencing, to work through things, you know, give last words, those kind of things to pass on to family. And it's amazing how valuable those moments are. You know, you think just a few moments of human life are, you know, end up what you're working to preserve, what you're risking your life to preserve, are some of the most valuable things in the world. Like, it's a job that outside of a society that values sentiment and humanity really isn't honestly that important very often, because like you said, it doesn't always, it very rarely saves a life. It doesn't really. And yet it is one that is worth doing, because those words, those, you know, last few moments that we'd all give, you know, we give anything to have a few more moments with our loved ones, carry a weight that really just cannot be measured. And in a sense, I suppose, as well, though, there's a peace that can be found in the fact that every doctor is only delaying a death. And at the end of the day, there is only one life, and that life goes on forever, and nothing can take that away. That is simply in their hands. Thanks be to God. Good to see you, Jorb. It's also consolation to a warrior, I suppose. In just the inverted fashion. But yeah, we're working on it, Jorb. One more person to talk to before Yuna. Lady Masako. I love the wind in this game. An ever-present symbol of change. Almost a paradox in that way, and a beautiful one. The road is always changing, but change itself is consistent. It can be counted upon to both carry you forward out of sufferings regardless of what you do, And Lady Masako is very much a symbol of that. I loved, you know, that it even, you know, panned over here for part of her thing, reminding us kind of what she lost, the home, the life, and this pristine, serene temple, a life of virtue lived faithfully with integrity that all fell apart nonetheless. Everything that she did to do well by her life collapsed. And yeah, here she stands, as dedicated as ever, in the cold, around a campfire, prepared for war, letting what she lost drive her forward and drive us forward. You are all good, Chungus. It made it especially potent humor in the fact that it just dropped during that moment. It's great to see you, my friend. All right, I appreciate your appreciation of my fitting up of Jin. Yeah, I wanted to keep the Taka armor because, you know, it was crafted by him and I colored it after him. You know, he made it for us and, you know, sent, you know, as a sign of gratitude, did something for him and for what he sacrificed. And I've carried this throughout all of my battles since then. Though into this last battle, because stealth is going to be required, we are going to carry it the way that he designed it to be carried. We're going to change it back to black, but for now it is our color of victory, a prelude of what is to come. When asked why I raised my right hand, I say, become the man whose children boast to their friends about how cool their dad is. Heck yeah, amen. It's a healthy form of pride that people oft forget. You know, when you look back at stories of virtue and of accomplishment, the world that gentlemen and chivalrous knights built, legacy was a big part of it. And that's a healthy thing because that inspires people and helps people to grow, especially our children, in both, you know, a funny way, in a cool way, in a way that it brings great satisfaction to us, but also does great good for others. Good to be here. Just joined a few seconds ago. Never seen this game before. I got you. Well, you were in for a treat if you stick around or if you watch any of our former parts of our series. It is one of my favorite games of all time at this point. It is a, you know, it's an RPG game. It's set in Japan on the island of Tsushima. Faced the Mongol invasion. The Mongols landed on the island. I do believe it is based on historical truth in that regard. They did lose a large part of their invasion force to sea and to storms. But they made it this far, and we are working, you know, as a fictional character, repel them from the island. There's all sorts of drama and moral quandary, and the combat is awesome. Almost Dark Souls-esque as well. It reminds me of that in terms of the combat style. Just a beautiful story and beautiful game. I love the characterization. I love the meaning of the story. Yeah, fantastic game. Kraken meet Chungus, by the way. Chungus meet Kraken. Which Jorbit, I hope that, you know, I'm sure you've already seen Kraken back, but it's cool to see you two unite here. That just clicked for me, that you two, you know, spent all sorts of time together. Kraken is, you know, someone that I became very fond of, and seemingly vice versa on through stream. He was once a part of the Benedictines, later left and is now, you know, joined the army. A very faithful man. He, you know, raised in an extremely Catholic family. I forget how many siblings you have that like became religious, or and how many siblings you have, but he's very much so a rad trad in the sense of like radical dude. We love him, and he's, you know, very much so at home here in that regard. And Chungus Kraken is a good IRL friend of mine. He was very much, you know, could say a lot of similar things about, but has done a lot of important work in his life and is helping me do some right now, and has been a good friend of the channel as well, as both of you have. So, well, all right, Yuna. On to our in-game friends, the friends of Jin, our last and most important one. The one who began it all. there's an incredible story of, you know, people, battle, you know, brothers and sisters who have been through so much with so few words spent. Carried by the, you know, brought together by the weight of what their lives have entailed. She pulled us out of the fires of Komodo Beach. We pulled her out of a life of crime. And now we are both walking willingly into fire of a new beach together. To avenge the first and all that has been lost since. And for the good of all that is to come. Where is it? There we go. Fitting music, given the situation. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. I think, yep, that's the right mask. Heck yeah. And now, one that's a soldier. Praise be Jesus. Thanks be to God for incredible family. Here we go. All right. Hold on. It's been a minute since I've played the game. It's been a couple weeks, even more. So I just want to check something real quick. I got it. The flaming sword combined with the ghost stance is just glorious. Who remains? Alright. That works. Okay. And thus, I become the ghost, making hopefully our last of grim decisions. I'll look forward to seeing you then, Kraken. God bless. They'll have to know we're coming. At least the con will. If I'm not at the front. That'll be the first question he asks if there's a frontal attack is where am I? Question is really, is he going to be staying on that hut or is he going to be staying on a ship? Most likely the hut. Ah. Bound to happen. I think now is the time to head over here, honestly. I could be assassinating people, but people are supposed to check in, and people can find bodies, so best bet is simply to not be seen. Yeah, he's got good enough eyes. They'll see me if I go down there. So they need this guy to go somewhere else on his route, hopefully. Seems like that's unfortunately an if statement. And he's not going to budge. We are on the clock. Nope.
And Yuchbish.
I think it's the way I was intended to go, but it's a way that I went. Might simply be no way through here without killing people. Yeah, this guy's not gonna be missed. Sadly, he probably will be missed by his mother. He still is, but such is the nature of these things. Is this not the vantage point? Okay. I'm listening, but how am I supposed to get there? Idea. Is that even necessary? Apparently not. Okay. Well, it was fun. Here we go. Shame it took so long. We are dying while we sneak around. He came. Let's see what the con will do. Move quickly. Works. Wait. Where? Khan's not here? I'm confused. Maybe I just have to fight my way across? This way. I'll just save us as much resolve as possible by the time we get there. The time has come. So it begins. But no, we gotta do it in this armor. Let's feel him out first. I love that he's a spearman, the most difficult form in the game. A fight. Practice the discipline I've been learning our entire time here. To test him out. I feel like each stage is going to be slight. Yep, there we go. Slightly different attacks. And his big strikes, he opens himself up. I don't want to underestimate him, but so far, there we go. He's giving us a lot of opportunities. There we go. Oh, come on. There we go. Didn't cost us anything. There it is. Well done, Khan. There, his guard is broken. Feeling there's much more still ahead. Ah. Alright. We can't let him get away. What the heck? Game, I'm not doing this right now. Thank you for trying to give me those clips. Whatever happens, this ship cannot leave without us. Here we are. So breaks the spear of the Khotun Khan. We'll kill them too. Ourselves to be pulled off the beach once more, it looks like. Just like that, with all the tools of the island. Be humbled and brought to heel. Khotun Khan. He who is remembered not. Swept away in the night by a ghost. The ghost. Face what awaits us together. Once locked in, I've been in a fight for a while. I remember this place.
Moko が去ったらどうなるんだ？もう先のことも想像できないし、自分が誰かもわからなくなった。野党だけどね。
I chose a good person, but I think that's what it said. We are the storm that stopped the Khan. And God met us where we were. As did our friends. Providence has followed us everywhere we've gone, and thus everywhere we've been going. And now it leads us to where it all began. Starting something new with an ending. As with all things. Good boy. Save the game. See if we have any more techniques we can adjust here. Not really, they'll affect us now, but... Spotify's been cooking today. And we won't change ourselves to face him. We'll come as we have been formed. Home. Should have hoped to have kept something from before. Sometimes we must simply carry the past in our hearts. You know, seeing what Lord Shimura allows for us to take with us. It's the new chapter ahead. Leave it to the Mongols to somehow find a way to get caught up in all of this. Hello there! You have so much resolve. You can do it, huh? Loyal to the end. A poetry in that, in these circumstances. Save again. Yeah. We're good. Perhaps this place will find a different purpose than sparring with him.
さよう。本土の武士を鍛える任を授かったからな。奴らとの戦にこの生涯を費やすつもりだ。この務めはお前と果たしたかった。父と子として。今さら何を申す。ぬかるみにはまったようだ。
そんな滅相もございません。
遠慮いたすな。
I do have plans right now, Jorb. Let's hear it.
将軍様は案じておいでだ。このわしもな。新しい武家が来たら民は神戸を垂れるのだろうか。九郎殿の名のもと背を向けるのだ。お前が手本を見せたのだ。わしに背いたことで民は主を裏切ることを学んでしまった。お前もいつの日か背を刺されるとは思わんのだ。さあ、馬を降りろ。
I taught him to obey a higher authority. Perhaps, Jorb. Definitely someday.
坂井家の先祖7代がここに眠っておる。お前の母もな。手を合わせてやらんとな。
な
お前
So, you can't see it on the screen. One option is to kill him, honor his wish for death. The other is let him live and walk. We can spare him. I feel like the point of this is that we have triumphed. We don't see him as an equal. We see him as a yin or a yang. We see ourselves as the perfected version of who he was. And he still has to learn that lesson. This is who we are. His life could still have meaning. He could still do good with it. He has done his duty. I don't know if that's worthy of a capital offense, though I did try to take our life. One would set a precedent for himself and for others that our way is, you know, permanently better and end resistance. It'd honestly be kind of what we would do, you would think, to the Khan or to such, or to prove that we're different than that. Ironically, by leaving his code, I feel like is what he did worthy of a capital offense. I mean, in a sense, what he did was treason of a sort, but also loyalty. Is the worth of lives of those who will be killed under his leadership? Would I rather have him leading or someone new from the shogunate? Endless war or a chance of redemption? I'm leaning C, though honestly, as most servant as I sound, I'm really not. Capital punishment has a valid place. He seems right now at peace with the fact that we beaten him, and he can carry that into the afterlife. And we can roll over the island uncontested. But the greater good, I think, is C. Still have hope for the man who raised us into our father. They can see something different. And if not, we can done this once. We're getting stronger and he's getting older. We can do it again. We're asking for a And grab the part now where we can skip. And go to conscience. Do you believe that's everything? Have a good night, Douglas. Thanks for stopping in.
いい隠れ家だね。あんたに合ってる。志村様のこと聞いた。追っ手が来るかな。とにかく生きててよかったよ。ハーンを殺して蒙古軍には趙がいなくなった。これで本土は安心だ。戦は終わってないんだね。忘れないで。あんたが対馬を守れ。そうだね。これからは二手に分かれようか。また会おう。それまで達者で。
It's time for us to form a new tradition. Look at all we got here. The tree, beautiful glade. Same white and red leaves that fell on us on that fateful day. Now we carry on ourselves the same color. I mean, Lord Shimura chose to lay down in. before our duel. Good, true, and beautiful. Few higher compliments I can pay a game. One of the best I've ever played. It was an incredible ending, which is also a new beginning in many ways. Now, both in terms of, you know, there being more content in the game, and of course in the life of Jin. I love that fittingly we can even like mount the top of our house. It's a beautiful little place we found for ourselves. We secluded in the islands under protection. That statue, likely we have some monk protection, given our friendship with it is, man, I can't remember all their names precisely as they are, so you guys know what I'm talking about. Ah, there it is. So we hide. Ah, the Ami Monastery. The Omi Monastery. Shoot, I just saw his name. Oh well. As monks have been doing since the dawn of time. Hoping the good but complicated find their way with the mercy and grace that they need to get there. But just what an incredible story. Like, there's just so much to break down. I don't really know what to say at this point. Justice and mercy. Courage and cowardice. Tradition and progress. Honor and practicality. Everything comes through Nexus Engine. At least that's the life we've attempted to live. And the hopes that none of those things are destroyed or lost in us, whether they're perfected. That's the goal. We did what we had to. In the end, we proved that it was for something higher. There was something there, and that was a mercy. That we weren't simply a demon of death seeking our own ends. Capable of honor, but honor took a new form. We make these guidelines and these boundaries to teach us what to do, to guide us when we do not know the way. But sometimes life requires a little wiggle room. We have our concrete things, the things that are core, like the good of our people, family, Tsushima, Japan, our friends. Those are the things that cannot be broken, that cannot be traded, like will not be bent under any circumstances, those loyalties. Sometimes you have to prune the branches for the sake of the tree and find a new way to grow into something even more beautiful. And that's the only way for something to live, to find a balance between keeping what works, changing what's as needed, and the blueprint is always there. If it needs pruned back the way it was before, so be it. I'll have many more things to say. I just need time to process it all. Thankfully, this is not our last episode on the game. I'll probably include in the YouTube version of the episode my thoughts. But it'll probably be the halftime of the next Tsushima stream. Kind of wanted to see how it all ended. It was the first game in a long time where I really didn't have all the answers going into it. Of what choice to be made and the consequences of each and the challenges of each. And that is a sign of an incredible game. It challenges you, helps you to grow. But you sure had a lot of fun along the way. It's time to go explore a little bit of this new world. Starting with... what are we wearing? We're wearing the ghost armor. Colored red. Vow of Vengeance. Alright, game. Follow your lead on this one. Hold on one second. Yeah. Ride wind the horse. Ride the wind forward. Good to see you, Zealous. Appreciate you stopping in. It's good to hear about the paperwork. You get to work at the bowling alley. That's cool. Required to drink some too. Very nice. So we can't actually go that way. This is the way it wants us to go. Let's see where we are, though. Wow, still a lot more to do. I like that it shows us where they all are now. Replayable duels. Okay. Heck yeah. More camps to knock out. Outposts to destroy. Farms to liberate. And we have a whole nother island to take on. So we're far from over. We've honestly just come out of the cocoon. It's time to decide who the ghost is. Become the man that we have made for ourselves. And walk the path that we've chosen. It's far from over against. As is this stream. We actually get to start on this today. And there'll all probably be one video there, including that halftime. But for now, we get to do some moving forward. But let's do a halftime of ourselves. Maybe I can even get it in today if I take a break and take some time to think. Look at this farmstead first, actually. I'm curious as to, so I'm at the Omni Temple. The monastery. Castle Shimura. I'm just gonna see how the things play out with the us being hunted by the Shogun. We run across samurai that are trying to kill us. Be interesting to find out. Noria. Okay. I was basically right. Pasture. I want to ride out here. Yeah, it's fitting we're sheltered right outside the monastery near where we grew up. It's funny that we're living in the backyard of where they expect us. Jin never stops being good at his job. Another time. Why not now? It was a good time to follow the spirit. Very curious of the symbolism of red and white in Japan. You know, there's a clear distinction there, a dichotomy. In this case, maybe a symbol between heart and mind. Where'd he go? Fox. Did he climb up here? I doubt it. Oh. Oh. That wasn't good. Well, unceremonious, I might say. Here you are. Kinda hard to see where you're going, young one. There we are. Yeah. A horse do the pathfinding. Wonder where that call goes. Another time. Sibling Bay. Obviously not the English form. Another thing we have to do in this game is operations. Quite the fitting that our first standoff is with straw hats. Let it be known, the ghost has returned. Supplies they betray their people for. I'm curious to see where this trail ends, honestly. It's kind of funny after all of this. I'm insisting upon taking the beaten path. The Moran. This is good. Example. I'd be curious to see where this path takes us, to be honest. Ah.
Here you. For Larry's sake.
Ah. Pay for that. Where'd he go?
No! No!
Ah. Okay. Not done. Ah. Fine. I'm not as cruel as you are for horses. How about that? It was deliberate. Just want to let them know the ghost lives. Definitely what I was doing. I kind of wore myself out on that fight with the con. Alright, now's a good time for a break. Perhaps a little bit of a longer break than normal to give me a chance to collect my thoughts, go to the bathrooms, see me, stuff like that. But I will be back. Thank you so much for watching this far. I look forward to seeing everyone soon. Hello everyone, welcome back. So, as you can see by me being back in the game, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see by me wearing the same outfit, that I have decided to do my piece today. We'll go back to Tradition's End to kind of have this chat. Kind of fittingly at nighttime, I feel like, for the ghost. It's beautiful, looking out at the moon. Rooftop, and we will even. That's why? Yeah, here we go. So there's some music. So, you know, what is Ghost of Tsushima about? You know, while I was sitting here, I feel like I realized, to an extent, I was overcomplicating it. There's a beauty in the simplicity of it all. It's a story of balance. It's a story of good versus evil. It is a story of yin and yang, of harmony, of living tradition, of a tree, and of faith, and family, and friendship, and courage, and devotion. These are the things that make Ghost of Tsushima. And most especially in there, you know, is that constant struggle in that sense of living tradition. This fear of stepping outside of what we know into something new. And this fear of stepping into something new and losing what's behind. And finding the way to reconcile them both. And the answer is, you know, again, quite simple. There are things in our life that are foundational. Friendship, love, what is good, true, and beautiful. The relationships that we have with each other, the relationships we have with what's above, and the relationship we have with ourselves. The character and the person that we become, and the story that we write, the degree to which we do our best. These are the foundational things that make life valuable, and through it, out of which the other virtues grow. The other, you know, guidelines and traditions and moral principles grow out of a certain set of basic values and basic virtues. Basic things that we need and basic things that we need to avoid. These are our fundamentals, and out of that grow, you know, those are our vine, and out of them grow the branches. A set of branches that must grow and adapt to the situation, sometimes even grow back the way that they came, but they can be pruned and guided without losing their original form. Tradition, at the end of the day, is simply democracy of the dead. It is not a rigid adherence to the past and all things. It is a preservation of that beauty. It is a commitment to doing our best, allowing ourselves to humbly be guided by the wisdom of those who came before. And especially in those moments where we do not know what to do, to trust in, you know, the ways that have carried those that we love and admire through the ages. Trusting that at the very least, if it does not work, we will have done our best and preserved our character, but furthermore, having a higher faith that those fundamentals are the very foundations of the earth. They are the axis around which the world spins. Those things life was made for, like the winds, they are a constant, though ever changing, ever moving on, ever staying the same. A beautiful harmony carried throughout all of life. And in Jin, we find an opportunity to bring that all together in our lives. We had a certain way, and, you know, we followed that way with devotion. Even, you know, rising to it after a fall in our own lives. First, you know, suffering a massive loss, our first death, and when our father died, and we had to become a fundamentally different person and choose at that moment whether to let grief, regret, and despair define our lives, or to be called to something higher. And of course, we did not make that decision ourselves, but were assisted by those that we would come to love in every stage of our lives. Lord Shimura carried us to a certain extent. He gave us, in that particular moment of darkness, an extra heavy coat of guidelines, of branches, one could say, to guide us in the production of fruit in our lives, to heal us. And that carried us as far as it could until at Komodo Beach we met a new destiny. We blew in a different direction. And Yuna dragged us out of the mud, and we had to face a part of our past literally in the face. Someone who came, you know, and had an association with that very place that our father died in. That we experienced our first death we had to reconcile with that and reconcile with the things that brought us to that point. Not just ascribing to a faith in the future, but a faith in what was behind, a faith in tradition, ironically, by having to renounce to an extent tradition. And we followed that end to do what we believed to be right, step by step. There was no guidebook for this. There was no traditions to hold to in this moment because the circumstances had never before been seen. In those situations in which it was applicable, we upheld it. We did not slay our own family. We did not, side with the Mongols. But we had to take up a different form of war for a different form of opponent. One that was not law enforcement, but war. An existential threat of life or death, in which it came down to using the tools of our enemy or, those fundamentals being destroyed. And we had to believe that we could hold on to those things. That we could take these things that life gave us and make them into something beautiful because we ourselves were made by those things. We were not just made by Lord Shimura, but we were made by the death of our father. We were made by yin and yang. And we had to find a beauty in those. We had to find a beauty and a purpose in what the Mongols put before us and the fight that we had and the tools that we had to fight that war with. Finding their own purpose, their own way to inspire and uplift others. Through our time as Jin, as Jin spent as the ghost, we made Norio into a man capable of exceeding, the very virtue of his brother, the guardian of the temple. We helped Lady Masako find something other than simply vengeance to consume her life, but find a new way forward. We helped the ever-rigid Sensei to reconcile with, to forgive, and to let go of the pain of the betrayal of his apprentice. To allow him to preserve that relationship and find a way forward. We helped Kenji find a new life, one that was not simply defined by his past, as we were not defined solely by our virtue. He was not defined solely by his vice. At least virtue and vice in a sense other than the ones we've been using thus far, and that's an objective one, but honor and dishonor in the sight of those here, to find a deeper sense of honor. They became good. They became good men and being filled by the very goodness as existed before the earth, the breath of spirit, the breath of wind, the breath of life, filling them, becomes something new. In which there was within them just as well a constant pushing forward, a constant growing, a constant life, and also a stability, a peace, a tranquility that will never end. That will be forever for them an anchor. They will never forget, nor will they likely ever leave what has become of them. And thus is the story of Jin, and now we have an opportunity to do that again for ourselves, choosing to take those same lessons we gave to others and apply them to our own life, and to move forward, to find a way to live as what we've become, accept what led us to it, and help bring about a new era of peace and life and goodness and truth and beauty in this land. I feel like that about does it. The moon's light is the same light of the sun. Such is the ghost of Tsushima. Praise be Jesus for such a great game. We bless you, Lord, and we give you thanks for this wonderful experience, for the wonderful symbols that you give to us, the passing of the moon right there. It's been a perfect, really, episode. A perfect climax of everything. Kind of clicked together inside and out. We get to see a beautiful sunrise as life continues its cycle onward. Thank you, Lord, for the experiences we have to come, for the people who recommended this game to us, who took this journey with us. And we ask that you bless us in all that we do. We praise and give you thanks, O Lord, for the work of your hands. Amen. I also thought it was really cool to see, you know, the heart of the developers and, you know, who they give credits to, like the people of Tsushima, the heroes of the battle, the people at who in the studio had children, you know, the children born during this process. It's not something you need to mention in the credits, but as out of a sense of devotion, of duty, out of a care for what they did, the art that they made. Those people were honored as Jin has, you know, sought to honor that his entire existence. They could not write that true art without having to at some point live it. And God bless them for doing it. Praise be Jesus. All right. Now let's do some more playing. Halftime over. Take a little look around this monastery. A little bit of a break. Don't be afraid. Is the sun sky? Ah. I'm impressed this guy has not noticed. Knocko did not pose any problems. Fitting that we fast travel here for what comes next. Oh. Looks like the Mongols thought so too. Valiant effort. I do appreciate at the very least the Mongols sticking by them to each other. Not passing judgment, simply doing what we must. Not really expecting to see them here. Place should be clear, but it's really not. That was epic. Go, go. Throwing down his weapons. Go home. I wonder if the same way on the island would accept prisoners. Like, am I doing these guys any favors or just forcing them to have to go back to fighting and killing civilians if I let them live? No, it at least spreads the word. And to be fair, you more or less have a way to retreat. No, actually no. Because they don't. Soon we have a way to surrender. They do as a unit, get out, and hopefully sparing people. You know, give them something to do so. Instead of fighting on to avenge the fallen. Fighting to see what's left. I can only hope. It appears we are still needed. As much as we think we are. Few things more evil than killing a woman at a shrine. Well, the most dishonorable thing you can do, to be honest. It'd be worse if she was like pregnant or something. Like burnt too. It's not quite intentional.
Hoy! Harbo! Uko!
Go as intended, but we're coming back from a break. We're rusty.
çıkar고. Tendwen. Явц туслая. Хурдан төрнэг олъё. Тэр хаачуу. Ямар нэг юм харав. Эцэнэ явцчээ.
Now it's gone very not to plan. But they have no idea where I am, so.
Дараа мултарч чадахгүй. Тэнд байна. Хаана вэ? Ямар ч улмар алга. Тэрэнч дээр биз. Ус самурай явчихжээ. Тэнд байна. Хаана вэ? Тэр мөн байж таарлаа. Хаана? Ямар ч улмар алга. Тийм ээ. Ой, өнөөхийг чи харлаа. Хаана? Ой, өнөөхийг чи харлаа. Өнөөхийг. Гэнэ. Аната様はハンを殺した酒井様。ああ、助かった。ありがとうございます。本当の自由ってやつはいつ来るのかね。もうこの残党は
Very convenient that they all just run nowadays. Makes it easier to have an off day, you know? Good to see you asking for a friend. How have you been? Were you not followed before? Always a pleasure to see you. What is up, my friend?
Тэнд нэг
Glad to hear it. Been doing great. Been having a fantastic time. We just wrapped up the main portion of this game. Killed the Khan, dueled our uncle. Working on wrapping up what remains of the Mongols on the island. And working to take out although forces exist on neighboring island. Been a fantastic stream. Very blessed all around, I would say, in this regard. One of the best, like, reminds me of ending Skyrim. I have a lot of anxiety a lot of times about my ability to provide the cinematic experience and have the right words to say, and really in this case just felt like God put it all together. Everything, you know, a lot of things outside of my control just kind of lined up perfectly. Been a great stream. Things are going well in life too, overall. How's streaming been for you? One of these days I gotta stop in. Gotta check out. Let me check right now if my notifications are turned on for you. Am I not? Somehow I wasn't following you. Is this like a new account? So what's been up, man? Have to get a new account? Is that why you weren't followed? Nah. Got less followers than I remember. Was it a backup account? Let's do this, by the way. Nothing we've done has been lost. Weekend was great. How about yours? Take some time off from going to visit my grandma every Sunday for the moving stuff, and finally got to go back on Sunday. A great couple masses. Completed my first Fridays with my buddy Gibbon and with Federal. Them separately, but ultimately together. Had a great mass and confession today. Guys and I are working on plenary indulgences for service members lost in the war thus far. Moving stuff's been going good.
Haven't bad.
Nice. Oh, that's right. The diaconate, the subdeacon retreat. How was that? Not bad. And to ask a little bit, honestly, just a little bit like mentally burnt out right now. It's been a long day of moving stuff, and then, you know, one of the most intense streams I've had in a long time at the top of this, but I apologize regardless. Tell us about it. I'd love to hear about it. How's about your retreat? An excellent question that a lot of people don't think about. The cross shows us the end of devotion, the end of faith, and it always beckons us beckons the question of, are we willing to go there? Begs the question, not beckons. My bad. I wish I would have learned this whole focus thing like in the beginning of the game. I'm sure there's in the tutorial, I just kind of forgot. What kind of stuff do they do for you? masses, confession, whether speakers, how much time retreat, prayer. Like, I love learning about these things. Tell me the detail, you know. What did it do for you? I'm doing it in the name of saving time. Moving off, I don't really love the idea of killing a dog, but honestly, of all the people here, most likely to end up going right back into service with the Mongols, the dog might be, you know, near the top of the list. Simple solution for this one. Greetings, gentlemen. How are you today?
お侍様、助かりました。わしらはこの鎧を守るよう頼まれたのですが、あなたにお預けするべきですが、わけもわからぬまま渡されました。
Let me start this quest line, actually. Gotta find the person who can put it all together for us. See the sacrament through our altar server's eyes. Interesting. It's a noble goal. Some of my most fond spiritual experiences happened doing altar serving. You know, St. Gertrude the Great, who wrote that Jesus gave her the impression, or even told her directly, that he would die as many times as necessary to save the soul of an altar server. Of course, not the most important perspective, but a great one for a subdeacon, especially because it's very much the core of your role, almost, you could say. Serving the priests in the lay ministry, or lay part of the, yeah, so you get what I mean, and in the Mass, which is the highest expression of the faith, of the truth, of what is good. Remember when the people complained? Okay. Psalm was David saying, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Okay. Nothing but Christ crucified to boast, ending in Luke with pick up cross and follow. The art of dying to oneself, being invisible. While others pick up even, you know, grander spiritual things. Choosing a cross and seeker without the full support of the community, people don't understand you and stand you even less than a priest, or appreciate you even less to some degree. Being in a sense forsaken and alone, and picking up the cross anyways. Remembering what Christ is willing to do, totally alone, remembering that we are not also in that role almost paradoxically, we're not totally alone, and often in a deep way, in the sense that we, you know, you get to have a family and such, but we are able to boast because we were chosen by Christ, boast of Christ and of his crucifixion as his suffering, and of who we are in him, because we are a part of him, and he us. Beautiful. Reminder not to complain. Complaining is human, but also we have to transcend beyond it. This thing I was thinking a lot about in confession today. Giving a little bit too much grace to the human need to complain. It's often more powerful to, right then and there, in the moment, decide to reorient the way that you think about it rather than to get the complaint off your chest and then come back around. Oftentimes you don't need to really talk about it. At least not right away. Start by seeing it God's way and then, you know, deal with the human component later. Hopefully you got a lot out of it. You feel better about everything. We head here next. No. Probably here. Looks like our army still kind of reigns in this territory. Yarakawa.
違う。内常公はここ。鎧を整えてもよろしいでしょうか。
Aw, a child. Heck yeah. Hi.
お頼みを聞いてください。
We actually had this conversation. I don't know why the game forgot it. So we get our own set of Mongol armor. It went so hard, the game developers could not deny us it. We're supposed to use it for stealth, and I think it's funny, given what we were all talking, you know, we were talking about during halftime about learning to find the beauty in the Mongols and what they make us. And even what brought them to where they were. Look, we have a mask and a helmet. That is wild. It'll serve us well on the island we're going to. Not ready to wear it quite yet, though. The mask does go really hard, but... Where it all started. Once when life gets hard, God doesn't feel... I mean, God's always near, but God doesn't feel near. Spreading the gospel, living now. I find many Christians, Catholic Orthodox included, as step one. Greetings, what's them? Oh, stop at step one. Why don't you elaborate a little bit? I'm not totally... I think I'm following you, but I'm not so confident that I don't want to dig deeper as to what you mean by which... So step one in this case would be the, you know, realizing that life gets hard, or step one, complaining, or step one just like the beginnings of the spiritual life. Did we do this in one small mission? One call it a night. Absolutely. Asking for a friend. I think a tragic thing as well, many don't even consciously realize is how many of us might do it, but it's not the first place that we go. Money is what stops God from getting all the way into the deepest recesses of their heart, and then they feel empty and unloved and wonder where God is. We're the ones who kicked him out. Obviously complicated. Spiritual darkness is, simply a thing that God allows for us. The most challenging things in the spiritual life, it's the saint maker. The saint maker, really. There's a baptism into little s sainthood, and according to the saints, darkness, dryness is, well, some may go through it and not end up there. It is a necessary baptism for all who end up with the big S. It's the common denominator. So how far are you willing to go, friend? Faith is a lot deeper, a lot more complicated, a lot more rigid, and yet also a lot more alive than most give it credit for. All we can respond is, by the grace of God go I to the end. We say yes, and ask God to carry that yes to completion. By his virtue and merits, help us to unite our owns to his, our own actions to such. You're a Mongol? Right? I mean, it's a very hard thing when you don't feel it, when you don't feel like God is near, because God is the one you're doing it for and the one who's bringing you to do it. How can you do it on your own? It requires, it's a very difficult thing and requires a faith and conviction in that God is there. He is near. It is more than just a feeling. And he's deeper than all of that. He's deeper entrenched. And also, above all of it, guiding it all. The very fact that you have an inclination to do anything in that dryness is an indication that he is there. And he has also formed you in his image and likeness. Those habits and those graces can carry you to the end. A large part of maintaining oneself on that point is gratitude, I feel like. Shame how loud he was. Thankfully, there's not really any civilians on the line for this one, doesn't look like. I gotta kill a man sleeping. Not necessary. Wish it isn't anymore, really. Honestly, if it wasn't for the waste of supplies, so there's really no reason to have to do stealth and all this. Having limited supplies does make it difficult because they aren't quite good enough to do it without using up a bunch of them. Need those for the big moments. Oh, and asking for a friend, thank you for doing that. Thank you for the service that you do for the church. Thank you for doing that for us, for choosing to walk that road, to pick up that cross, for asking God to grace to do that very difficult thing of persevering in that dryness. It's a lot of character and a lot of courage. These kind of enemies aren't really designed for the level of heat we're able to put out. I love the Mongol throat singing. Opened this up a little bit more. Hopefully he's better now. the most silent of our options. Kind of.
Ой, өнөөгч хардаа.
You don't want to blow that horn. Thank you.
Ой, өнөөгч хардаа. Тэд энэс мултарч чадахгүй. Би танд вэ? Тагуу. Энд л дуусна.
Oh. Was it meant to be that easy? I decided to kill him a little bit earlier than the other one simply because I wanted his death to scare off as many as I could. Resist the urge to kill the two fishing. That was to teach them a lesson about peace and peacefulness with them.
Tend wing.
The neat points are really all the game has left to offer me at this point. Yeah, I think this is a good place to call it. Feel thoroughly like I am the ghost again. What the heck. One more of these. We're somewhere really close to fast travel point. Just where I think it is. Is this Sensei's dojo? I don't know. Let's give her another time. Stay on track. I get to bed. Got a lot of important things going on in my life, but it's like a proper wind down to one of these small outposts. That's for what time's sake. Are they under attack, huh? Who's attacking who, man? Wait, he's the samurai. Like, who are y'all? I don't know who he is, but I have to kill him. And just bandits raiding the Mongols. That's neat. They don't look samurai. Guess that's that. Alright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for coming out to this stream. It has been one of my favorites on the channel's history. It's definitely going to go as a highlight into, you know, our permanent saved on the channel. Not only on YouTube, but also on Twitch. I'm immensely excited to return and continue to work towards the completion of this game. After all we've been through, it's so satisfying to continually, you know, remake the island as it once was. I look forward to all the bonus content as well, and then moving on to our next game, which will likely be Detroit Become Human. Maybe Jordan can convince me of Elden Ring. We'll see. You already got one win with this. I've been promising Detroit Become Human for a long time now, so we'll see though. Alright. Say goodbye to Jin on our 20th episode. Our 20th episode of Ghost of Tsushima. Say goodbye to Jin. We'll say hello again to him in a couple weeks as the incredible man that he's become. Truly an inspiration. And I mean that deeply from the bottom of my heart. It's an incredible work of art. It's a story worth remembering. These are the stories that we have nowadays. There are, you know, childish kind of games and movies and TV shows and such, but there are true works of art that will one day, I feel like, be looked at as favorably as a lot of the things we look back in our own traditions now today. We praise and give thanks to God for them. I praise and give thanks to God for all of you. May God bless, keep us all, bring us all into eternal communion, and help us to always have a great time here at Jacket Clubs. As always, everyone, may God bless, Godspeed, and have a good night. I love you all, and I will see you soon.
May the peace of the Lord be with you all. As we bring to you the readings of today's Holy Mass. Come, let us now listen to the Word of God. March 9th, 2026. Optional Memorial of Saint Francis of Rome, Religious.
A reading from the second book of Kings. Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Aram, was a great man and in high favor with his master, because by him the Lord had given victory to Aram. The man, though a mighty warrior, suffered from leprosy. Now the Arameans on one of their raids had taken a young girl captive from the land of Israel, and she served Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, "If only my Lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria. He would cure him of his leprosy." So Naaman went in and told his Lord just what the girl from the land of Israel had said. And the king of Aram said, "Go then, and I will send along a letter to the king of Israel." He went, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of garments. He brought the letter to the king of Israel, which read, "When this letter reaches you, know that I have sent to you my servant Naaman, that you may cure him of his leprosy." When the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes and said, "Am I God, to give death or life, that this man sends word to me to cure a man of his leprosy? Just look and see how he is trying to pick a quarrel with me." But when Elisha the man of God heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, he sent a message to the king, "Why have you torn your clothes? Let him come to me, that he may learn that there is a prophet in Israel." So Naaman came with his horses and chariots, and halted at the entrance of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, "Go, wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored and you shall be clean." But Naaman became angry and went away, saying, "I thought that for me he would surely come out, and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and would wave his hand over the spot, and cure the leprosy. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them, and be clean?" He turned and went away in a rage. But his servants approached and said to him, "Father, if the prophet had commanded you to do something difficult, would you not have done it? How much more, when all he said to you was, 'Wash, and be clean'?" So he went down and immersed himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God. His flesh was restored like the flesh of a young boy, and he was clean. Then he returned to the man of God, he and all his company. He came and stood before him and said, "Now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel." The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. The response is, "My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and behold the face of God? As a deer longs for flowing streams, so my soul longs for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and behold the face of God? My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and behold the face of God? My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and behold the face of God? Oh, send out your light and your truth, let them lead me, let them bring me to your holy hill and to your dwelling. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and behold the face of God? Then I will go to the altar of God, to God my exceeding joy, and I will praise you with the harp, O God, my God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and behold the face of God? I hope in the Lord, I trust in his word, with him there is kindness and plenteous redemption.
A reading from the Holy Gospel, according to Luke. Jesus said to the people in the synagogue at Nazareth, "Truly I tell you, no prophet is accepted in the prophet's hometown. But the truth is, there were many widows in Israel in the time of Elijah, when the heaven was shut up for 3 years and 6 months, and there was a severe famine over all the land, yet Elijah was sent to none of them except to a widow at Zarephath in Sidon. There were also many lepers in Israel in the time of the prophet Elisha, and none of them was cleansed except Naaman the Syrian." When they heard this, all in the synagogue were filled with rage. They got up, drove him out of the town, and led him to the brow of the hill on which their town was built, so that they might hurl him off the cliff. But he passed through the midst